Measures of central tendency. Please take a moment to read this first page here. It has some helpful information, definition, formula, and an example. Now that we have reviewed it, let's move on to example 1. Example 1 says solve for the summation of this indicated operation where k, it has a lower bound of 1 and it goes up to an upper bound of 5. So that means k is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to plug it in and solve. All right, now that I got this written down, let's use the order of operations, meaning we're going to do the parentheses first, then we're going to multiply. So 1 plus 3 is 4 times 1 is 4. 2 plus 3 is 5 times 2. 3 plus 3 is 6 times 3. 4 plus 3 is 7 times 4. 5 plus 3 is 8 times 5. And then we add them all up and we get a sum of 100. Okay, so let's move to our next one. Definition of a median and a mode. Take a moment to read it. Basically, a median is going to be a set number. Okay, so let's just talk about this. Let's just do it and apply it here, but you can read it. A median is when I'm going to take these set of numbers and I'm going to make sure they're all listed in descending or ascending order, okay? And then I'm going to count how many they are. If there is an even amount of numbers, so basically 2, 3, and 4 is an even amount, then you're going to take the two middle and you're going to add them up and you're going to divide it by 2. And that's going to be our median. All right. If the numbers are not even, right? If they're odd, then after you line them all up in descending or ascending order, then your answer, the median, will be the middle number, okay? Mode is going to be the one that occurs the most in the set. The mean, we're going to use our formula to solve for the mean. So we're going to take the sum of where I goes to 1 with the lower bound up to n. And we have our xi. And it's all divided by the number of events in there, a number of elements, number of numbers that's in that particular set. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this here. This is what we're working with. We got 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 4. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. So let's make sure we write it down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then when we count that, there's a total of 10. So we divide it by 10. So it's basically taking an average, right? You add everything up and divide by the number of them. And when I do that, I get 37 tenths, and which gives me 3.7 for my mean. Now, let's look at our median, right? We want to determine what is our median. Well, if we have 10 of these, then that means that they're not even, right? Or we have 10, they are even, I apologize. They're not odd, is what I meant to say. They're even, right? So there's going to be 5 on each side, right? There's going to be 5 on each side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the two middles. I'm getting tongue-tied. Take the two middles, add it together, and divide it by 2. And that is my median. My mode here is 5, because 5 occurs the most in this. So that's all there is to that. All right. So the next one says you're given a definition and a formula. So let's just jump in there and solve for it. Okay, so we're going to find the mean for this set of group data. You're given this chart right here. And the one below it, I gave it extra space for the midpoint and the product. However, we do need another box for here and here for the total sum. We'll get to that. Okay, now let's solve for it. To find our midpoint, what we're going to do is we're going to take from group 1, we're going to take the note, midpoint. It's gonna be our upper bound plus our lower bound divided by 2. So we're going to take for group 1, we're going to have 2.5 plus 0.5 divided by 2, and that's going to give me 1.5. That's what goes here. For the second group, we got 4.5 plus 2.5 divided by 2, and that's going to give me 3.5. The third group, we got 6.5 plus 4.5 divided by 2. That gives me 5.5. The fourth group, we have 8.5 plus 6.5 divided by 2 gives me 7.5. Okay, so now that we've done that, next we want to find what's the product. Well, the product means I'm going to take this at midpoint times the frequency. So I'm going to have 1.5 times 3, which gives me 4.5. Then I'm going to take 3.5 times 7, which gives me 24.5. Let's take 5.5 times 3, and it gives me 16.5. And then 7.5 times 4 gives me 30. Okay, let me see if I can erase this right quick. So next we're going to find the total, because we got to find the mean. We got to find the mean, right? In order to find the mean, I need to find the total frequency and the total product of it. So what I'm going to do is find n, which is the sum of, in this case here, there's 4. So that's my upper bound, and I is equal to 1, and I have the frequency. So I'm going to take 3 plus 7 plus 3 plus 4, and that gives me 17. So that goes total for that column. Next, I'm going to take the product of this, right? So I got the upper bound of 4, the sum of I is equal to 1, it goes to 4, of xi, fi, which is our midpoint and our frequency. I'm going to take, and we already have it multiplied here in that column, so all we need to do is just add these up. And when we add these up, we get 75.5. So that's that total. So now let's find the mean. Okay, so we're going to use our formula. So our x bar is equal to the summation of k, where I is equal to 1 and goes up to k, of xi, fi, all divided by n. Okay, so we got 75.5 for our product, and then our n is 17. And then when we divide, we get 4.4 is our mean, our approximate mean. Okay, so example 4. Find the mean and median for the data in the following table. So you're given this table here, and I went ahead and created this other one here, separating it a little bit better. So we need to find the midpoint. Well, to find the midpoint, again, we're going to take that 899.5 upper bound plus the 7.99.5 lower bound divided by 2. That's going to give me 849.5. I'm going to do the same thing to the next order, and I get 949.5. The same thing for the next one, and the next one. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to come over here and find the product of the midpoint and the frequency. So that means we're going to multiply these two together and go all the way down for each group. And I found this, because 1 times that 849.5 is going to be the 84.9. 5. Now we'll take the 9 times the next one and just work our way down. All right. Now here we want to, in this one here, this column here, we want to find the n is equal to summation. And we got 5 here. So we know that our upper bound is 5 and our lower bound is 1. So we're going to add those together. And we get 50. So that goes here. That's my total there. And then for this other one, we're going to find the summation where the lower bound is 1 and it goes up to 5. The midpoint times the frequency. So we're going to add all these up and we get 53875. $53875. Okay, now that we have that, we can find our mean. So to find our mean, we're going to take the sum of that product, which is 53875, and divide it by the number of the frequencies, which is 50. And we come out with 1077.5, and that is our mean. Now, to find our median, we'll need to do our histogram. And when we plot it on the histogram, you need to look at the actual, let me see if I can draw this out best I can. When we draw it, we want to see if it gives us a bell curve, meaning that there's going to be a point where it's the tallest and it needs to be the center. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at. Is it centered where everything else tapers off? Okay. So whenever we plot this particular, all these points on a graph on the bell curve, this here is going to be my frequency and this here is going to be my midpoint. I noticed that on the left of this histogram, we got half of it, right? So basically what I'm saying, we're going to look at left and right, right? We're going to split it in half. Well, we have a total of 5,000. And we're going to divide that by 2 and gives me 2,500. So that means that half of this should be 2,500. And when I look at that, the left side of it, we got 999.5 to 1,099.5. So now that we know that, we can solve for our median. So let's take this formula of 100 times 1 of 100 times 9 plus the m for median 999.5 times 22. Now I'm pulling this off this histogram plus off of our table we have above. So now let's solve for it. We got 100 plus 900, and we're going to distribute that 22. So let's say 999.5 times 22. All right, so let's keep combining and then move everything to the other side. So I got 1,000. So what I got 1,000 here minus this here. So that gives me what, a negative 20989 plus 22m, 2,500. Now let's add this to the other side. So now we got 22m is equal to 23,489. We're almost done. So let's solve for m by dividing by the 22. And we come out with, we're going to round to the nearest hundreds. Okay, and that is our median. Next one, let's find the mean, median, and mode for the data on federal student financial assistance for the country A in the following table. So you're given this year, and then you're given those awarded amount in dollars. So let's find the mean first. So to find the mean, we know that we're going to take the sum of all of these and add them up. So 1,001 plus 1,125 plus 1,202 plus 1,227 plus 1,063 or 1,263 plus 1,329 plus 1,263. And we're going to divide that by 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we get 8410 divided by 7 is approximately rounded to the nearest hundreds. All right, so that's my mean. Now let's find our median. So when we look at our median, this is an odd amount. So one, we need to make sure they're all in descending order or ascending order. So we got the ones, now we got this one. Let's see, we have this one. And then we got 1263, 1263, and then 1329. So we need to look, when we look at it, we're going to notice the middle here, right? That's going to be our median. Our mode is going to be the 1263, it occurs the most.